Bert, thank you very much, and welcome to beautiful San Francisco, the fourth and final game of this series between the Giants and the visiting Atlanta Braves. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. McCovey Cove, Willie Mays Plaza, as scenic a place to watch a ball game as there is in baseball, and yet another sellout for the Giants. What have they seen so far in this series? Thursday night, they saw a very good performance from left-hander Barry Zito. 8 innings, only 2 runs allowed, and the Giants win by a score of 5-2. On Friday night, more Giants, this time offense. Angel Pagano's been on fire in the leadoff spot recently. 4 for 5. The Giants win again, this time by a score of 5-3. Yesterday afternoon, time for the Braves to bounce back, and Jason Hayward, who's been on a tear himself, launches a 3-run home run, an early 3-0 lead for the Braves, and they go on to win 7-3. They'll look for a split of the 4-game series here tonight. The standings in the National League. Washington lost today. Atlanta can get within 4.5. They're also the leaders in the wild card race. The Dodgers are still playing right now, currently trailing the Giants by 2 games in the NL West standings. And hi, everybody. Dan Schulman and Oral Hershiser. Terry Francona off this week. He'll rejoin us next week in Detroit. The big talk of the week in baseball, of course, the trade between the Red Sox and the Dodgers. That trade affects the Giants. They're rivals in the National League West. But you talk to the Giants, they don't seem overly concerned about it.
I think they should be, and I think probably for a long time to come. The Dodgers are willing to spend money. They've acquired 9 players now, and the 2 biggest impacts right now are Adrian Gonzalez. Yesterday, for sure, the home run. That's going to help the offense. And then on the mound, Chad Billingsley goes down with an elbow soreness. Immediately will be replaced by Josh Beckett. So I think Carl Crawford in the background for next year, but that's a clue that the Dodgers are in this for a long time.
On the mound tonight, a really interesting pitching matchup. 2 guys with big resumes, but they're kind of in different places right now. One of them trying to find himself, the other one, the undisputed ace of his staff.
Yeah, Tim Hudson is outstanding. He's been so consistent over his career. He's reinvented himself many, many times. And when you watch him pitch, he absolutely is a bulldog on the mound. But at times, he has to change his teeth. It's been a power sinker early in his career. Tommy John surgery made that sinker go away a little bit, then more breaking balls. Tim Lincecum, 2 Cy Youngs at a time maybe in his career where he's got to think more about pitching and not being the power arm that he has been. He's a fantastic pitcher, but I think he needs to think more about pitching.
And one of the challenges that Lincecum will face tonight, Jason Hayward of the Atlanta Braves. He's been on a tear, and he's standing by with the Buster Olney.
Jason, tonight you faced Tim Lincecum. He's obviously got an unusual delivery. How different of a challenge is that from your perspective?
It's a big challenge because not only does he have above-average pitches, but you got to make sure he's around the plate and in the zone to get a good pitch to hit. So we got to be patient and be aggressive in the strike zone.
Now, you've got 5 homers in 9 games here playing in San Francisco. What is it about this park that appeals to you?
Man, the atmosphere here, the crowd brings every night. It's like a playoff atmosphere. They got very good pitchers that we come in every night and we got to face, and we got to be focused. And it's a lot of fun, and, as an opposing player, they make you stay on your toes.
Jason, thanks. Dan, back to you.
Buster, thank you. Big game tonight here in San Francisco. 2 playoff contenders. Tim Lincecum on the mound for the Giants. Tim Hudson for the Braves. Sunday Night Baseball comes your way next.
Fear stems from the unknown, from uncertainty, from something you can't control. Fear stems from playing 162 games for it to come down to the last 27 outs. For the last 7 months to last only a day. Untamed and unpredictable, fear comes before the fall. Will you rise in the face of it? Can you control what is wild?
Of course, the World Series champions just 2 years ago, the San Francisco Giants, playoff contenders this season as well. Tim Lincecum on the mound. And that means a lot of 55 jerseys in the ballpark here at AT&T Park tonight. A tough challenge awaits Lincecum of the Giants tonight. The Atlanta Braves, who are leading the National League wild card race right now under manager Freddie Gonzalez. A look at the starting lineup for the Braves tonight, as always presented by Taco Bell. Braves have been a little hot and cold offensively lately, although they did score 7 runs yesterday. Michael Bourne, a threat if he gets on. 35 stolen bases to lead the National League. You've already seen and heard Jason Hayward is hot. Jason Hayward has done great hitting in this ballpark. And a guy you don't associate with these kinds of numbers, Brian McCann, battling some shoulder troubles, had a couple of cortisone shots, not swinging the bat as well as he normally does. On the mound tonight for the Giants, Earl, Tim Lincecum.
And that ERA at 5.3, that's the second highest in the NL. He needs better fastball command. He needs to be dominant again, and that's by making better pitches.
And you can see from the various shots we've already had for you. West Coast game, 5 o'clock start. That means one thing. The shadows are in play early. Sam Holbrook, our umpire tonight. And the first pitch from Lincecum misses outside for ball 1. Michael Bourne among league leaders not only in stolen bases, but hits, triples. Lincecum looking down as if he wasn't happy with the way he landed as he falls behind quickly 2-0.
He's really struggled with some mechanical adjustments, and he really has not been as consistent as he once was. And those 3 misses all in the same place tell you that he is struggling with something that is really got him out of sync. When he threw his warm-up pitches, when I was watching when we were doing the Open, he did not miss there once.
And a strike at the knees, 3-1. Well, Lincecum, you're not used to seeing an ERA over 5. He's thrown 14 wild pitches this year, most in the National League, up there in walks as well. Gets the call at the knees, full count.
They see the velocity at 91 miles an hour. His last start, he topped out at 93, and he needs to live down there by the knees, and that's showing that he's getting good rhythm, good extension, and keeping the ball down, and that's where he's best.
Bourne fights it off. The shadows in just the last couple of minutes creeping out from behind the plate, across the plate, and just into fair territory. So it has to be a very difficult situation right now for a hitter.
And very difficult for the outfielders with the sun glaring in their eyes, especially in center field.
Angel Pagano with the sunglasses on out in center. Full count pitch on the way to Bourne. And Lincecum misses high. Let's check out the defense now for the Giants behind Lincecum tonight. With Melky Cabrera suspended, Gregor Blanco is getting a lot more playing time in the outfield for San Francisco. On the infield, Buster Posey is at first base tonight. Normally, of course, the catcher, but behind the plate for the Giants is Hector Sanchez. So the leadoff man aboard for the Braves, and here's Reed Johnson.
All intent.
Lincecum falls behind, so he's got control issues early. He's got the #1 base stealer in the National League at first.
And he's not real good at holding runners. He's pretty slow to the plate.
A good percentage for Bourne. And opposing base stealers are a perfect 15 for 15 off Lincecum this year. You can hear some groaning in the crowd. It's been a difficult season for Lincecum. At times, he'll have 4 or 5 great innings, and then he just can't get out of the next inning. At times, he looks like his old self, and at times, Oral, he looks like he's searching for something that he just can't find.
There's Dave Regretti on the mound, and he is on the bench, and he is watching him closely. And I think that, you know, when you watch the pattern of misses so far, it's all up, and he's got to make a mental adjustment first and foremost of trying to keep the ball down.
A swing and a high fly ball into shallow right center field. Hunter Pence there, 1 down. So Johnson cannot execute, cannot at least move the runner over. The first out of the night recorded by Lincecum. And now comes as dangerous a hitter as the Braves have had recently, Jason Hayward, who has homered each of the last 2 games.
He has really come into his own. Started the year in the 7-hole, now been in the 3-hole for a few months. Very comfortable there and starting to produce off the charts.
Off the outside corner, ball 1. When we asked Freddie Gonzalez pregame what difference does he see in Hayward, you alluded to it, more aggressive, 2-0 if he's going after it. He's really going after it.
This is really the first year when he has got into hitters counts that he has let the bat go, and that has really made it more effective.
Breaking ball outside, ball 2. There's a lot of grumbling that we can hear. Our broadcast booth is right in between the upper deck and the second deck, and we've got fans below us, above us, and you can really hear the grumbling in the crowd early. There's been a lot of concern about Lincecum, although to be fair, he has pitched better of late. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down, not nearly in time. Stolen to base number 36 for Bourne.
If you're 1.3 to the plate, which Tim Lincecum is or greater, for a premier base stealer, it's easy pickings. It's just making sure he goes home, because even when he goes home, he's not fast enough to get you. You just flat out outrun the pitcher's delivery, and there's no way even the best catcher can get you.
Ball 3.
Tim has struggled throughout the year trying to find some checkpoints with his delivery. He's very complicated delivery. Remember, his nickname is the Freak, and people wonder that, you know, these are very odd mechanics. It has a lot to do with his head position, a lot to do with the twisting that he does of his body on his back leg. As he starts to go home, you see the full hip turn, the full shoulder turn, a little less in the stretch than from the windup, and then that head goes back over his spine, arches, and he has to fight to get back to the plate. And I mean fight, because not many people can get in that position and get back to square to deliver the ball. That takes a lot of strength and a lot of flexibility to get yourself back, headed towards home plate, and then releasing the ball consistently for where you want it to go.
So is the difficulty his mechanics, or the fact that he's only 5'11", 170 pounds?
No, I don't think the difficulty can be his mechanics. It's difficult for him to now repeat them, and they're unorthodox. They are freakish, meaning that not many people do it this way.
Base hit into left field for Hayward. Bourne to third will be held there, and the Braves have runners on the corners with 1 out.
We see him missing with fastballs high and away to left-handed hitters. We see him missing with fastballs to the same place with righties. And again, here to Jason Hayward, this is a fastball. It's up, it's away. Jason Hayward picks on it and shoots it through the 6-hole. But there's really no concern right now with the Atlanta Brave hitters to think that he can get the ball to his non-arm side, which is the first base side of the plate, and keep the ball down, or to try and jam these left-handed hitters. It's middle or away.
And there's away again. Ball 1 to Freddie Freeman, the first baseman and the cleanup hitter tonight for the Braves. Freeman with 17 home runs on the season, 2 of them coming Friday night. And as you can see, he has been a run producer among the leaders in the National League in RBIs. Lincecum, such an important player on this Giants team. They've got such good starting pitching, of course, led by Kane and Bumgarner, and Vogelsong's had another very good season. But if Lincecum could get back where he was, I mean, now you're talking about 4 terrific starting pitchers. Barry Zito was great Friday night. This is the foundation upon which the Giants have been built.
Bumgarner and Kane. Bumgarner on the left there, and Kane in the sunglasses. Yeah, and the Giants, if they, the Dodgers not retooled right now with the big trade. They've just, they've kind of rebooted the whole system. 9 players they've gotten in the, the last month or so, and not just anybody.
Twenty pitches already in the inning for Lincecum, and he has gotten 1 out, first and third for Atlanta. Runner goes from first. Pitch up and away, no throw down. It'll be a stolen base for Hayward.
Well, Michael Bourne and Jason Hayward cover some of the most of the ground in the outfield on defense, but they get on base. They can also cover some ground between the bases, and those 2 stolen bases are huge. Now no double play to get out of the inning.
Number 19 on the season for Hayward. Ball 4. The second walk issued by Lincecum already, and the bases are loaded.
This conversation has to be about making an adjustment with the fastball. Somewhere getting it down in the strike zone early in the count, and then using that fastball they used as a chase pitch, not a fastball to try and get back in the count and throw a ball.
You're talking about a guy who's 28 years old and should be right in the prime of his career. Won the Cy Young in 08, won the Cy Young in 09. And now here at 28, almost grasping at straws sometimes, it feels, to rediscover what he had for so many years.
Yeah, he has a tremendous resume and still a tremendous amount of talent, and I don't expect him to be down for long. If he works at this, keeps his strength, his flexibility up, finds the mechanical adjustment he needs, the ability is still in the body and the arm.
The Braves looking for a big inning here in the first. Bases loaded, 1 out for Martin Prado. And a breaking ball for a strike. Prado at second base tonight, 4th game of this series, and the 4th different position at which Prado has started in this series. Left field, third base, shortstop, second base. You can hit him in many different spots in the lineup. He normally hits second. Chopper to second in time for 1 out there. Not in time at first, and the fielder's choice will score a run. So Bourne in to score. Fielder's choice RBI for Prado. 1-0 Atlanta here in the top of the first. And that'll bring up Brian McCann, the Atlanta catcher. As you can see, Sanchez out from behind the plate. Just telling the rest of the infield what they will do in case Prado breaks from first to second. Same situation they were in a couple of minutes ago when Hayward broke for second. The struggling McCann with a right shoulder problem. It does not affect him throwing, but it does affect him swinging when he extends the arms. He's had a couple of cortisone shots. And just atypical numbers for Brian McCann, who's been as good an offensive catcher as there has been in baseball in recent years.
Well, and right from the beginning of a swing, when you have a front side shoulder problem as a hitter, just to start launching the bat, you can sometimes feel it. And then for sure at contact and after. And the biggest thing you fear is swinging and missing the ball. Because then the weight of the bat, you expect contact, you don't get it, and that radiates right into that shoulder.
Strike over the outside corner, 2-1. Leads all major league catchers in just about all offensive categories since 2006.
You think of Yadier Molina, Brian McCann, Buster Posey as the stalwarts of great catching in the National League. Buster at first today because of a little hamstring problem. They're trying to make sure that they keep his hot bat in the lineup, keep him as healthy as possible.
Little bloop. Drops in for a base hit. Hayward will score. Prado around to third on the bloop RBI single. 2-0 Atlanta.
This is where you're Tim Lincecum and you build the inning with lack of fastball command, and then you feel like, you know what, I get a chopper to third, it's not hit hard enough to get a double play, I jam McCann, I finally make a pretty decent pitch on the inner half to a lefty and it falls in, and you just feel snake bit. But it really is about building the inning for the Braves and letting the odds of baseball kind of catch up to you because you set the table.
More trouble in the first inning for Lincecum. 28 pitches tonight, 2 runs in. And the batter was third baseman Juan Francisco. Takes the changeup down and away for ball 1.
And other than being the first inning and trying to find your way on the mound, this should be the easiest inning for Tim Lincecum and Tim Hudson because of the shadows. This is tough on the hitter. First at bat, they don't know what you have. They haven't seen anything out of your hand yet. And then you got bad light.
Francisco swinging as if he had bad light right there. The count 1-1. Getting a start in place of Chipper Jones, who was out again tonight. A bit of an oblique issue for Chipper that's kept him out the last couple of days. Potentially available to pinch hit, although Freddie Gonzalez would like to stay away from him if possible. The Braves have an off day tomorrow. There's the 40-year-old future Hall of Famer.
First ballot, almost unanimous.
Yep. Part of a pregame ceremony before the opening game of the series Thursday as the Chipper Jones retirement tour continues around baseball. Swing and a miss to end the inning. But some damage done. 2 walks, 2 runs. 2-0 Atlanta going to the bottom of the first. Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. And in part by Sprint. and by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball since 1980 and now through 2018. On a Wednesday night, the band The Walkmen played at the MLB Fan Cave in New York City. Back here at AT&T Park in San Francisco, the Giants coming out trailing the Braves 2-0, bottom of the first. Bruce Bochy, the longtime manager of the Giants, a great run with the Padres. Prior to that, the Taco Bell starting lineup for the Giants. Angel Pagan, despite an 0-for-4 yesterday, on a tear since he was put into the leadoff spot a few weeks ago. And how about Marco Scutaro, who they brought over from Colorado, has done an outstanding job for the Giants as well. And nobody, and I mean nobody, has been hotter since the All-Star break than Buster Posey. When the Bulldog says you're a Bulldog, take it as a compliment, and you think Tim Hudson is a Bulldog.
He's really, really good, and he struggled in the first inning. He talks about lack of execution on his part and a little luck on the opposing offenses.
Here is Pagan, and he has been incredibly important to the Giants' cause, especially since the Melky Cabrera suspension, which was 11 days ago. Cabrera suspended for 50 games. As Pagan lifts a fly ball to left field, Johnson finds it in the sunlight, and it makes the catch out in left field, one down. A chance to look at the Atlanta defense for tonight's game. And Johnson out in left field because Martin Prado, who is normally the left fielder for the Atlanta Braves, is on the infield tonight at what is really his natural position, second base. Struggling Dan Ugla gets the night off. Behind the plate, Brian McCann catching Tim Hudson. The 145th time, according to Elias, that Brian McCann has been behind the plate for a Tim Hudson start. Almost a Hershiser-Socha-like familiarity between these two. And that helps, right?
It definitely helps when you get some kind of comfort back there. You get in a rhythm. Marco Scutaro has been outstanding since he came over here from the Rockies. 23 of 28 games he's gotten a hit for them. You talk about Buster Posey, who's going to come up in the 4-hole, who's been so hot in the second half, really helping the Giant offense tremendously. Well, you got to get people on in front of them. And there's Buster.
Boy, and if the first few pitches of the night are any indication, Tim Hudson is sharp. The sinker and the slider right on or off the corner and everything down at the knees, even a little below.
He attacks the strike zone. He doesn't worry about what the hitter's strengths or weaknesses are. He says, this is what I have, and I'm going to give it to you in my best.
Liner to right field, and the catch is made just off the shoe tops by Jason Hayward.
Don't hit it to right or to center or to right center, because those guys, Michael Bourne and Jason Hayward, cover a lot of ground. And this is not an easy play, not only because it's a line drive and it looks like he struggles with it, but to pick the ball coming out of the shadows into the light and with the sun bearing down on you. He tried to make sure, and he did.
Everybody got their sunglasses on in the outfield here with the outset of this game. Pablo Sandoval, first pitch swinging, ground ball to second. Inning over. Hudson makes quick work of the Giants, needing only 7 pitches to get him in order in the bottom of the first. Top of the second inning here in San Francisco. The Braves up 2-0 on the Giants. Lincecum goes to work on Paul Janisch, the Atlanta shortstop, who looks at a strike. Janisch picked up from Cincinnati. He was at their AAA affiliate, providing outstanding defense the last several weeks for the Braves. Popped up on the infield, Scudero, one down.
Tim Lincecum's struggles have been with fastball command. He had that same problem in the first inning. You watch the high and away fastballs here, really not making the adjustment, leaving. But the pitch he did command that helped get him out of the inning was his changeup. See the velocities at 84, 85 miles an hour. Good extension, downhill, looking like a strike and then biting. And then finally, the up fastball, not inside, but at least down the middle and up.
And a swing and a base into left field for Tim Hudson. He was all Braves fans, and fans out here too from his days with Oakland. Was a terrific two-way player. Was an outfielder in college at Auburn. It was a rough first inning for Lincecum. Needed 32 pitches, walked a couple, and gave up 2 runs. He has allowed more first inning runs than any pitcher in baseball this season.
That runs into 18 out of 27 starts where he has given up the first runs of a game, so he puts his team behind.
Especially in this ballpark, that creates such a problem. So tough to score runs here. The Giants have only hit 20 home runs in this ballpark all season. A lot of close, low-scoring games in this ballpark.
Spacious, the wind blows, the air's heavy.
Just outside with a curveball, and it's 1-1 on Michael Bourne, who walked, stole a base, and scored back in the first inning.
You know, Dan, but that's the only thing you can complain about with this ballpark.
Yes.
This is a gorgeous piece of property.
Not even a complaint, just a statement of fact. It is beautiful. I mean, we were sitting here from our vantage point, elevated up behind home plate, looking out to the bay and the flags blowing, beautiful blue skies and the bridges, and saying, man, this is a pretty good place to come to work, don't you think?
Yeah. Dwayne Kuiper, Mike Krukow, John Miller. The broadcasters here locally, they've got a nice job.
2-2 the count on Bourne. Hudson with a jacket on, running at first. And Bourne hits a chopper over the mound. Scudero gloves it onto Crawford for one. Not in time at a first base, but a terrific play by Scudero to get one out.
No chance to get Bourne. It's a one-out play. Just nice to make sure you get the sure exchange there at second. As you're watching this replay, think about who's coming up. Reed Johnson and Bourne, who beat that ball out. I would expect him to take a few pitches to give Michael Bourne a chance to get to second base.
You know, certain teams seem to have problems with certain positions until they find a guy to stabilize that position. Freddie Sanchez with the shoulder trouble for years as the second baseman of the Giants, but boy, has Marco Scudero stabilized things offensively and defensively at second base.
Yeah, and that flip that he used there from second to short is actually that. It's called flip, and a lot of big league players, minor league players, even high school players, they play flip before the game, where they deflect the ball from their glove, even the palms of their hands, around each other in a circle and work on that.
Pitch out, runner not going.
It would be easy to go back-to-back pitch outs as we take a look at Tim Hudson there in the dugout getting ready to go out for the second inning. But back-to-back pitch outs right here. If Tim Lincecum had good fastball command, you'd feel fine about it because you know Michael Bourne wants to run. But do you really want to put him in the hole again, knowing he might not be able to climb his way back out of a bad count?
2-1. The leading base stealer in the National League at first base into Michael Bourne, and a guy on the mound in Tim Lincecum. who has allowed 17 stolen bases in 17 attempts this year when he has been on the mound. Obviously, it's a combination of pitcher and catcher. It always is. But obviously, Lincecum a little bit slow to the plate, and runners are having their way with him this year. And there he goes. Ball 3, throw down, not in time.
It's 3 this game. It's a 1-3+ leg kick with a premier base runner. Again, really no chance. By the time you receive the ball as a catcher, you can see he's almost to the end of the pop-up slide by the time the ball arrives.
And a full count now on Johnson. Johnson picked up from the Cubs along with starting pitcher Paul Maholm. It wasn't a deal that kind of made huge shockwaves when they made it, but boy, has it been a help to the Braves. Now the crowd with some energy trying to help Lincecum get out of this. Off to the right and just out of play. You know, normally as you look at Jason Hayward, dangerous hitter waiting on deck, it's a boisterous bunch here in San Francisco. But it's almost like with Lincecum on the mound, it's almost as if they enter the ballpark with their nerves frayed a little bit already because of the difficulties he's had this season. It's a different kind of vibe here than we normally associate with this ballpark. Sanchez fires it down to first to complete the strikeout, and the inning is over. 2-0 Braves going to the bottom of the second. Buster Posey, one of the hottest hitters in baseball, leading it off when we come back. Of the second inning, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Dan Schulman, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. Got a lot of Panda hats in the ballpark as always. Sandoval retired for the last out of the first inning, and that means that Buster Posey, the cleanup hitter and a hot hitter, leads off the second for the Giants. And takes a strike right over the outside corner from Tim Hudson. Posey putting himself into the MVP discussion with the way he has swung the bat since the All-Star game. And with Melky Cabrera suspended and Pablo Sandoval favoring a hamstring and Hunter Pence not swinging the bat well since he came to the Giants, there's a lot right now on the shoulders of Buster Posey.
He's carried this team before his rookie year, before he got hurt with the real bad ankle injury, but that is all behind him, and his second half has been unbelievable. Some hitters have great hands, some hitters have great hips. He's got them both. He is very quick to the ball and very calm and stable.
Got a piece to stay alive at 2-2. The Giants, in spite of the loss yesterday to Atlanta, have still won 7 of their last 9, and they are 7-3 since the Melky Cabrera suspension. Leaders in the National League West. Ground ball to short. 1 down. The Dodgers lost today, losing 6-2 to the Marlins, so the Giants at the moment are 2.5 up on the Dodgers. And the Giants and Dodgers will play 6 more games against one another between now and the end of the season, including a season-ending 3-game series that will take place at Dodger Stadium. And can you imagine, let's say both teams, neither one is in wild card territory. If it's those two just battling for the division, big swing and a miss by Hunter Pence. You played in enough big games at Dodger Stadium. You know what it'll feel like in the last week of the season.
It'll be so much fun for the fans, for even the national fans, and then for the players. It's off the charts. You just, every at bat, every pitch starts to feel like a playoff game.
Pence with a chopper, charged and safe at first is Hunter Pence. Francisco's throw a little bit wide of the bag.
Juan Francisco's ball scored a hit, and he comes in on this chopper and does a real fine job of barehanding it to give himself the best and quickest way to get the ball to first. But the throw runs up the line, and the tag is missed. Good concentration watching that ball right into his hand, finds the grip. You can see there in super slow-mo, grabs it with the whole hand, ends up with only the 2 fingers, the conventional grip. But just up the line a little bit, didn't get it on target.
Good effort by Francisco. Pence will take the infield hit. And here's Hector Sanchez, the catcher. Posey at first. Sanchez, who caught Lincecum on Tuesday night when Lincecum defeated the Dodgers. He's back behind the plate for this game. That pitch eludes McCann, and Pence into second.
I think probably it's going to be scored a wild pitch. McCann kind of boxed it up, but that ball was not even close to target by Tim Hudson. Just pulls this ball way inside by the back foot of Sanchez.
And it is a wild pitch, moving Pence into scoring position. The Giants down 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Fans are fighting the sun. Outfielders are fighting the sun. It is not easy at this time of day here in this ballpark, and in many ballparks on the West Coast with the late afternoon start. With that low line drive, if somebody hits a low line drive to Bourne out in center field, he's going to have to be awfully good to catch the ball with the elements that he's dealing with right now. Giannis has to hurry, and he gets him. Sanchez retired, 2 down, Pence to third.
Two-litter choppers. Giannis makes a nice play here. This ball's over the mound, over Hudson's head, and comes screaming across the middle of the infield with all the wheels, and with a really nice exchange to get that out at first.
So a quick conversation between McCann and Hudson with a runner at third, 2 down, and Gregor Blanco, the batter, the left fielder for the Giants. He's getting a lot more playing time ever since the Cabrera suspension. And is 4 for 7 so far in this series, known more for his glove than his bat. Johnson in left. And the inning is over. Beautiful night, beautiful shot of the Bay Bridge here in the San Francisco area. 2-0 at the end of 2. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge, new rules. And by MasterCard. Explore what World Elite MasterCard can do for you at mastercard.com/World Elite. Pretty good spot to be. Just kind of relaxing out in McCovey Cove, within striking distance of the ballpark, as we go to the top of the third. That looks like fun. That looks like so much fun that we held a draw before the game to see which one of the three of us, including Terry, who's not with us this week, who would be out there in 2 weeks. And Tito, if you're watching.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, came up you. I mean, it's funny the way that works out. So Tito will be doing a guest shot, a little pregame hit from out of McCovey Cove 2 weeks from now when we're back here for the Dodger game.
Tito, you might want to pack a jacket too. It gets a little chilly out there.
He's a swimmer. He'll be fine out there, right?
Yeah.
There's a strike, 3-1 on Hayward. Singled, stole the base, scored a run. And for whatever reason, against one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, in one of the toughest hitters' parks in baseball, Hayward thrives here, hitting over 400 in this ballpark.
He's got power to hit it out of any park.
Out of play, off to the left. Hayward, such a good rookie season 2 years ago. The shoulder injury really damaged his season a year ago. Dipped down all the way into the 220s in the batting average, but up around 280 right now, hitting for power. Chases a fastball up and away, and he's gone. One down.
This is Lincecum's typical miss. He looked like he's trying to come all the way inside, and look how far he misses by. Watch the glove reach up and away, and Hayward lets him off the hook. He missed by a good 2.5 feet.
A ball and a strike now on Freddie Freeman, who walked in the first inning. Normally, if Chipper Jones were in the lineup, Freeman might be hitting fifth, but he's the cleanup hitter with Chipper out. As Lincecum misses very high, and for about the fourth or fifth time tonight, looks down to his landing spot, which is on the first base side of the mound with his mechanics, where his front foot is landing, and something is just not feeling right for him at times tonight.
He's feeling for his rhythm, and he's feeling for something in his mechanics. And you see, if you could just take a spray chart of where the ball is going compared to where they're trying to throw it, he's missing consistently.
Very high pitch count through 32 in the first inning. That's of concern to Dave Righetti, Bruce Bochy. Lincecum unable to get very deep into games. Hot shot down to first, knocked down by Posey to the bag himself. 2 down. More baseball coming your way this week. 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. It'll be the Rays and the Rangers from Arlington. And then Wednesday night at 7 Eastern, the Cardinals in Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates. Two of the teams battling for the National League wildcard spot. Both games available on ESPN3 and also live on the Watch ESPN app. St. Louis won earlier today, beat Cincinnati 8-2. Pittsburgh was shut out 7-0 by Milwaukee. So the Pirates fall another game back of the Cardinals. Atlanta leads the wild card race in the National League. St. Louis is in the second spot, and then the Dodgers and Pirates both lost today. So a good day for the Cardinals. And they're the up to the moment standings in the National League wild card race, with Atlanta leading it right now. So the Dodgers a factor in the wild card race, also in the National League West, as they trail the Giants by 2.5 in the NL West at the moment. A broken back ground ball charged at third by Sandoval, and he'll make the play to end the inning. Now, speaking of the Dodgers, the biggest news made in baseball this past week, maybe in a long time, the blockbuster deal between the Dodgers and the Red Sox. We'll break it down for you and its impact on the National League when we come back. Now the big news of the week, the Los Angeles Dodgers with that huge deal with the Boston Red Sox. Adrian Gonzalez homering yesterday, a 3-run shot in his first at bat as a Dodger, leading them to a win yesterday. They lost today, although Gonzalez did go 2 for 4 with an RBI. Carl Crawford, of course, not a factor this season. Beckett gets plugged into the rotation. Punto also acquired as a utility man. A tremendous amount of payroll picked up, with the Dodgers absorbing almost all, reportedly, of the future salaries that are coming to these players. The Red Sox completely blowing it up and reducing their payroll drastically, and the Dodgers, to borrow a poker term, a term that you would be very familiar with, my friend, they're all in right now.
They are a very aggressive player right now, and they are all in right from the first hand. And I don't see any end in sight in the budget. What budget do they have?
How quickly times have changed. What an ownership change can mean for a ball club.
And in some way, when you pay $2 billion for a club plus, you can't just say to the fan base, okay, you're going to pay the freight from here for us purchasing the club. You need to put a great product on the field, and I think that's what the Dodgers intend to do. They are gathering resumes rapidly.
There's a base hit into right field for Brandon Crawford. Hayward will cut it off and hold him to a long single. Let's go down to Buster Olney for more on the big deal.
Guys, of course, there was a lot of talk around baseball about this trade, and every rival executive that I spoke with who was a neutral party in this told me they thought this was a great trade for the Red Sox, and they had real questions about why the Dodgers were willing to take on so much money and give up prospects. One executive, in fact, said to me he wondered if Ben Cherington, the Red Sox general manager, might be eligible for Executive of the Year, despite the fact the Red Sox are under 500. Now, I did speak with a Dodger official who said to me, look, it's very difficult to get players as good as Gonzalez without stretching. He also noted the Dodgers farm system is not in great shape. This helps build a bridge into the future.
Night, Buster. Thank you. Lincecum up looking to bunt. All right, there's so many different angles, so many different ways to look at this trade. Let's start with this one. Where is the money coming from for the Dodgers?
Well, I think they have money, and then I think they also are counting on future money with all the mega regional television deals.
Lincecum gets it down and will advance the runner.
I just really think that the Dodgers are all in, but they are all in knowing something is coming. In the next year and a half, they're going to be negotiating a new regional television deal. They don't know who the suitors are going to be, but they know it's going to be mega. And I think they want a team to say to those people, we're going to put a championship team on the field. It's not going to just be next year. We're going to go this year. And even if that's only a wild card game, one wild card game, they can still call themselves a playoff team in 2012, and then 2013 build for that also.
Some have referred to the Dodgers as Yankees West. Accurate?
I think so. I think that everything that your worst nightmare was, if you're not the Dodgers and you play in the National League West or you're a fan of a National League West team, I think they are all in for a long time.
Now, as we've seen from the Red Sox, you can't just go out and buy yourself a championship. It doesn't always work. The Giants are a team, they feel they've got a lot of chemistry, a lot of togetherness. They won a world championship 2 years ago. Brian Sabian and his group, they work on somewhat of a limited payroll. They're not out there spending $140, $150 million a year. At least outwardly, the Giants don't seem to have reacted with too much concern about what the Dodgers have done.
The organization and the players have not, but I think the fan base has. I think the fan base is worried. And this is a great fan base, a passionate fan base, and that rivalry between the Giants and the Dodgers, it has just got more strenuous, I think, over the long haul.
You look at what the Dodgers have gotten this year. Again, Crawford's not a factor. Beckett has not pitched well this year. Maybe he'll pitch better for the Dodgers, but if he pitches for the Dodgers the way he pitched for the Red Sox, it's not really a boost to their rotation. Most of the focus right now would be on Adrian Gonzalez. There's a ground ball to the left side. The throw to third, and they got him. The out recorded at third, 2 down, and a Pagan safe at first. To get the Giant reaction to the Dodger deal, here are the thoughts of Buster Posey.
Well, I think it was like everybody else's. You didn't really know if it was going to come to fruition or not. But after it happened, I mean, it's exciting. I think it's good for baseball. It's good for West Coast baseball, and it should make the last month and some change here even more fun.
It's one way of couching it. Exciting.
It's good for baseball. It's exciting.
It's good for West Coast baseball.
Yeah.
But I really do think the National League West is becoming a little bit more like the American League East. If the Dodgers become more like the Yankees, San Francisco be more like Boston, and then Colorado, let's say they're like a Toronto. Tampa Bay, maybe like a San Diego, might have to represent themselves that way.
Inning over on the force play at second. 2-0 Braves at the end of 3. A Baseball Tonight update, including Dodger highlights on the other side of this break. There's 6 games remained between the Dodgers and the Giants this season. A weekend series here in 2 weeks. And we'll be here for Sunday Night Baseball 2 weeks from tonight. And then a season-ending 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. A ball and a strike on Brian McCann. And a bloop RBI single his first time up. The shift is on with 3 on the right side of the infield against McCann. Sandoval well off the line, really playing shortstop right now. McCann reaches for it and hits one right to Sandoval for out number 1. The Panda playing with a bad hamstring as well. And
did you mark that 5-3 or 6-3?
Ooh, I did it wrong. That's a 5-3. Sandoval now back to his comfort zone over at third base as Juan Francisco, ex of the Reds, comes up. And Francisco has opened up some eyes a little bit for Atlanta. He's made some good defensive plays. He can swing the bat. And he's got a chance perhaps to show the Braves that with Chipper Jones retiring, maybe he's got a shot to be somewhat of a regular at third base next year for Atlanta. It's been a while since the Braves had to go look for somebody to play third base.
Chipper has fluctuated back and forth from left field at times, but they are looking for a future third baseman, and he has the first crack at it. And there's Chipper there relaxing today. He's got a little oblique issue, a little side issue.
A high fly ball hit a ton to right center field and gone. Pagan in center never saw it, but it didn't matter because it was a blast to give Atlanta a 3-0 lead.
Well, that was Chipper Jones-esque, talking about a future third baseman for the Braves. This is a long way anywhere, but it's really long here. Some rows to almost straightaway center.
Broken back ground ball down to Sandoval. Paul Giannis retired 2 down. It's about 410 to the fence where he hit it. That's conservatively got to be 440, maybe 450 feet.
That's another one of those high, that's a split finger changeup that's been working well tonight for Timmy Lincecum. That's up and in the wheelhouse, and he supplied most of the power. That ball's probably thrown at about 83 to 85 miles an hour, but it left the bat well over 100.
Frank Wren, the GM of the Braves, says that Juan Francisco has by far the most power on the Atlanta roster. That is number 9 on the season for him. 3-0 Braves. Tim Hudson, the batter. Now, it always helps to pitch with a lead, but Tim Hudson has done it about as well as anybody. When he's got a lead of 3 or more, 133-3 in his career, when at any point of the game he's got a lead of 3 runs.
He keeps attacking, he keeps pushing. His record when the team he is pitching for gets 4 runs, 166 and 28.
And he's 2 for 2. And I don't know if Pagan would have had a play, but again, battling the sun out in center. Got a late break on that, and Braves are having some fun with enjoying Tim Hudson's night tonight.
A lot of comments on the bench right now going, it's not that easy.
And you know what Hudson just did? He looked out at the scoreboard, saw his updated batting average after the 2 for 2. Back to the top of the order now for Michael Bourne. Well, Hudson was always a guy, not only the stuff that he had, but the way he competed, the way he swung the bat. Good athlete, ran the bases, good defensively. Going back to Oakland and now with Atlanta as well. Always a guy who helped himself in a number of different ways.
And will continue to, because that athletic ability and his knack for the game is not going to leave him for a long time. He's come through a lot of different things.
Look at him.
He's playing with the bench. Yeah. Oh, it's nothing. Just let me flick it off the end of my shoulder.
He entered the game at 200. He's up to 238 right now, and we've got activity in the Giants' pen. Left-hander Jose Mijares is up. Swing and a miss. The tag applied, and the inning is over. Another run for the Braves. 3-0 Atlanta leads. Buster Olney with Chipper Jones when we come back. Beautiful night as you look across McCovey Cove toward AT&T Park. The Braves leading the Giants 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Moments ago, Buster Olney with Chipper Jones.
Chipper, one of the guys who might help to replace you next year, Juan Francisco, with a big home run there. What do you see in him since he's joined you guys?
Well, he's got an 80 on the power scale. I can tell you that. When he lays into one, it goes a long way, as you saw. But he's been a great pickup for us. He's given us power and RBIs in my stead, and played some pretty good defense for the most part.
Tim Hudson, 2 hits. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I thought it was pretty funny. He got to first base, and he told B-Mac to look up on the scoreboard. He was hitting 238. Max hitting 231, so we just having a little fun with it.
Chipper, thanks.
And there it is. Hudson now with a better batting average on the season than Brian McCann. Giving him what for after the hit. Nice play by Freeman to Hudson, covering for out number 1. Sandoval retired.
That's funny for Hudson, but I don't think it's real funny for McCann. He'll laugh it off.
Yeah.
But
you know, Hudson, with all the success that he has had with Oakland and now for many years with Atlanta, has actually got more wins as a Brave than he did as an A. This is a guy with 193 wins in his career and only 101 losses. He has 92 games over 500 in his career.
I guess that classifies him as a winner.
Wow.
That he is very competitive. In those days when he was in Oakland with Hudson and Mulder and Zito, it was a pretty good pitching staff.
Zito in the ballpark tonight, of course, is a member of the Giants. And Mulder, one of our guys now, back in Bristol, working on baseball tonight. Long throw by Janisch. Pulls Freeman off the bag, and that'll be an infield hit for Buster Posey. Well, back in some really good days for the Oakland A's. This trio was one of the biggest reasons why Oakland had as much success as it did. Zito, Hudson, Mulder. I mean, for so many years, Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz were the gold standard. But this group was next in line for however many years they were together. 5 or 6 years, had absolutely tremendous results.
There's Barry Zito. Has fought through some Giant days, but never given up. Really never to the level of those days. And especially when he signed the contract, has not put up that kind of production, but he's been very respected around the game and with the Giants for continuing to work hard to produce. And Timmy Hudson and our peer now, Mark Mulder, they were outstanding back then.
The batter, Hunter Pence, had an infield hit his first time up. And a strike from Hudson to even it up at 1-1.
He has really not produced at the level they expected when they acquired him from the Phillies. He's just really struggled to hit over here. He hasn't really hit for power. The average is down.
And a bouncer to third. And across the diamond it goes Francisco to get him 2 down. Posey to second. Don't miss the final Grand Slam event of the year, as defending champ Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Serena Williams, and others take the stage under the spotlight of New York City. First round coverage of the U.S. Open begins tomorrow at 1 Eastern and then continues in prime time at 7 Eastern. Presented by IBM on ESPN2, ESPN3, and also live on Watch ESPN. With Oral Hershiser and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Schulman. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN from AT&T Park in San Francisco. The batter is Hector Sanchez.
Oh, it's in.
And a little bit inside, says Sam Holbrook. Ball 1. Sanchez grounding out his first time up. The Giants have had a runner in scoring position in the second and in the third and again here in the fourth, but have yet to cash in. Meanwhile, Tim Lincecum gave up 2 runs in the first inning, walked a couple, a bloop brought in one of the runs, and then gave up that long home run to Juan Francisco in the fourth inning. He finds himself down 3-0. Like 2-0 and the good sinking action there, and Sanchez over anxious chases a pitch that probably would have been ball 3.
When that ball leaves Tim Hudson's hand, it looks like it's a fastball right down the middle, but that late biting action ends up hitting the top of it. And this is a patented Tim Hudson sinker. It's not power 93 anymore, but it's, you know, it's in the 90s and it's got some bite. And boy, can he live down by the knees when he's locked in.
And you can see why he gets as many ground outs as he gets, although getting fewer on a percentage basis this year than in most years. Still gets a lot, and he's gotten a lot tonight. Chases down low, 2-2.
And Tim Hudson has done a great job reinventing himself at different stages of career, from a power sinker baller to going through Tommy John to understanding the caliber of the bullets have kind of changed and throwing maybe a few more breaking balls in certain outings at times. Maybe the split finger just isn't as intense and sharp, but he understands how to win and he understands how to pitch, and he keeps making adjustments.
And a ground ball. Freeman unassisted, inning over. End of 4 in San Francisco. Hudson leading Lincecum 3-0. Welcome back to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. AT&T Park in San Francisco. Braves 3, Giants 0. San Francisco winning Thursday and Friday. Atlanta winning yesterday. 2 playoff contenders. The Braves leading the National League wildcard race right now. The Giants leading the National League West. Reed Johnson takes a little bit low. Ball 1 from Tim Lincecum to get it going here in the 5th inning. Johnson has flied out and struck out. Versatile guy, hits lefties very well. Getting a start against a righty tonight because Martin Prado is playing on the infield tonight. He's at second base with Dan Ugla out of the lineup.
That's inside.
Prado makes it feel like Atlanta's got about 8 guys on that bench. Freddie Gonzalez can play him anywhere, and as a result can really rest anybody.
Rest anybody and still have a quality player that's not out of position.
And a strike, 2-1, as Maharis starts jogging down to the bullpen again. He was up briefly last inning before Lincecum struck out Bourne to end the inning. And Bruce Bochy is not going to take any chances. He wants to have somebody ready just in case this goes south in a hurry. And here, more than just about any other ballpark, when somebody goes down to the bullpen and you're the starting pitcher, you can't help but see it.
Especially if you're a right-hander, and if you want to use it as a emotional trigger to a pitcher. And maybe get him irritated, like, hey, get it going. It's a good way here to put somebody up in the bullpen. Maybe not in earnest, but like, we're watching, and we're watching in a hurry.
Lincecum fighting it a little bit on the mound, and also due up third next inning for the Giants. So this could be it. And a high chopper to third. Sandoval skips it across and dug out nicely by Posey at first for the out. Between innings, Buster Olney and San Francisco manager Bruce Bochy.
Bruce, after Tim Lincecum got through 2 innings, I saw him come back to the dugout, talk with you and Dave Righetti. What did he talk about in terms of adjustments he's trying to make?
Well, he's battling his delivery a little bit, and he's out of sync, and that's obvious. He can't get the ball where he wants, and the ball strike ratio is not very good, and he just feels like he's a little too quick at times. We're trying to just get him to slow it down, just concentrate on throwing strikes.
How much further can you get him through this game?
Well, we're going to try to get him through this inning. More likely this will be it, but we'll have to get somebody up and protect him here this inning.
Bruce, thanks.
And again, how things have changed for Lincecum with the struggles he's had, the high pitch counts that he's endured because of his struggles. Now, Bruce Bochy's had a bit of a shorter leash on him. Already up at 85 pitches right now in the 5th.
His struggles are unique to him, of course, but he is also has very unique delivery with a lot of moving parts before he leaves the rubber and starts headed toward the hitter.
Ground ball to the right side. Posey started after the ball. Tricky play for a first baseman. Do I go for it or not? Then he retreated to the bag to take the throw from Scutaro.
And you build that as you get more and more reps. Buster Posey, natural catcher, was a shortstop in college, but playing more first base now to try and stay healthy, especially with the little tweak of the hamstring that he's dealing with.
So 2 down on ground balls. Lincecum trying to at least get through the 5th. Freddie Freeman is the batter. A walk and a ground out. The last thing an Atlanta fan wants to see is Freddie Freeman messing around with a contact lens or anything to do with his eye. Remember earlier this year where he had the problem, couldn't generate any tears, had dry eyes, and I believe it was a scratched cornea, and for about a month didn't swing the bat well at all until they got it figured out. Something you endured a little bit in your career, right?
Yeah, definitely here in San Francisco and in Arizona in spring training. Ended up with some plugs in my tear ducts to keep the moisture in my eyes.
Posey to Lincecum covering to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down to go the Braves. To the bottom of the 5th, 3-0 Atlanta. week and a half ago, the San Francisco Giants found out that one of their best players this season, Melky Cabrera, who is leading the National League in batting, was suspended for 50 games for an elevated level of testosterone. A 346 batting average for Melky Cabrera, and obviously a huge loss for a team that, especially in this ballpark, needs all the offense it can get. Yet the Giants have gone 7-3 since the suspension of Cabrera. For more on this issue, let's go down to Buster Olney.
Guys, when the Giants found out that Cabrera was going to be suspended, Bruce Bochy, their manager, met with the players and told them that this was happening. And he also told them, look, we have to move past this. Now, it's possible that if the Giants play into the second week of the postseason, that Cabrera could rejoin the team at that time. But it's an open question as to whether or not he'd be welcome. There are some in the organization who are not happy with how he handled this situation. In particular, some really feel like that he would have been better served to speak to his teammates as a group before he cleaned out his locker.
And obviously his decision to just bolt came from embarrassment, humiliation, but it didn't serve him well with respect to his teammates. But you talk to some members of the Giants and they feel it brought the team together. It motivated them. It angered them. Now, whether that can sustain itself over the period of a number of weeks, who knows? But there's a feeling around this team that the chemistry is good. It's one unit of 25 players fighting against all odds, suspensions, Dodgers, tough hitting ballpark, whatever it is.
Injuries. It's galvanized them. Because it was a chorus of disappointment. And I think that things are changing in baseball, and the players are really looking for more punishment to keep this out of the game. They're disappointed when even one of their fellow teammates goes down. They're not protecting their teammate. They're angry. They're realizing that when there's few that are possibly stealing money by taking PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, that it's not only bad for the game, it's bad for their team, it's bad for salary structure, it's bad for the wild card race, it's bad for the National League West race. We saw the same thing with Bartolo Colon in the American League West race. It impacts every organization.
Swing and a miss to get a Blanco, getting more playing time after the Cabrera suspension. One down. Do you think the 50 games for the first offense needs to be increased?
I think something needs to be done with punishment. I think baseball will look at this very, very strongly. I think the Players Association needs to really take a hard look at it. And the players, as a momentum and a vote, will push Michael Weiner and the Players Association to really address this topic. We have to do something. We can't just have like a three-wall safe of this vault of money and possible opportunity and fame of Major League Baseball and let these players take the chance, the risk-reward of I will take a chance and steal some of this money, the fame, awards, batting averages, all the things that you can get if you're a really great player. It's not protected enough.
Right, because Melky Cabrera, if he doesn't get caught and finishes the year hitting 346, probably signs a 4 or 5 year deal and $12 million a year, $14 million a year, something like that.
Yeah, maybe $80 million, but that's out of the whole salary structure. Yes, are the Giants happy he's doing well? Yeah, but when it goes down, everybody's hurt.
You know, a kind of a related story for the Giants. They've got Guillermo Mota, who is going to be eligible Tuesday to be activated from his second suspension in his career for testing positive for a banned substance. In Mota's case, his assertion is that he took some of his child's cough syrup down in the Dominican, and reportedly the Giants and baseball and everybody kind of agree, yes, we understand, but there was a substance in that cough syrup that caused him to test positive. Whether that is true or not, the Giants appear to be wrestling with the decision over whether they should activate him when he's eligible Tuesday, or with this Cabrera situation, do they have to distance themselves as much as possible from anything that looks suspicious?
Yes. I think the punishments need to get harder, and I think they need to distance themselves from this completely.
So stay away from Mota, perhaps, too.
Yeah, even though it's a huge need.
They need an arm.
And maybe it was a naive way of being positive, but still, it's very, very hard, I think.
Tough decisions coming. 2 outs in the inning. Ryan Theriot, the pinch hitter for Tim Lincecum. He strikes out, and Hudson continues to mow them down. A Baseball Tonight studio update when we come back. All right, guys, thank you. 50-year-old Roger Clemens, will there be another start? Will he conceivably make a start in the major leagues this year? The feeling among some is that yes, he will, and if he does, it would be for Houston. The ties between Clemens and the Houston organization. Jose Mijares is on after Tim Lincecum goes 5 innings tonight, gives up 3 runs, all earned on 5 hits. Mijares picked up on waivers earlier this month from Kansas City. Thoughts on Roger Clemens and what we might see in the next month?
First of all, competitive juices. He still wants to be out there, but are there ulterior motives to postponing the Hall of Fame vote? By getting a big league inning, it would postpone that for another 5 years. It would make him an active player that has to retire, and then you have a 5-year window. And will then maybe the steroid controversy and the court case that he has been through, will that all kind of move away, and he won't be connected to this generation or this class of Hall of Fame possibilities?
Is that what you think it is?
I really do.
Yep. Ball 4, and Prado draws the leadoff walk. Let's go down to Buster.
Guys, I've talked with people in Major League Baseball about this, and they do think that from Roger Clemens' perspective and the perspective of the Houston Astros, who are having such a rough season and might be looking for a way to draw fans, it's almost a no-brainer for the two sides to make this happen. Now, from the point of view of Major League Baseball as to whether or not they would step in, it's very unlikely that they would, because since the release of the Mitchell report, they followed the recommendations from that report, which are do not penalize players, do not give them penalties to the players who are mentioned in that, and they also basically are just trying to move forward. So if the Astros want it to happen, Clemens wants it to happen, it'll probably happen.
Clemens going 3 1/3 shutout innings in his start last night, and apparently, or obviously the command was good through strikes, and apparently through 87 or 88 miles an hour. A long way, obviously, from the Roger Clemens in his peak years, but
that's just a tremendous accomplishment at 50 years old, just to hit 88 miles an hour on the gun, period. And then to be able to repeat your delivery and throw strikes and to get even minor league hitters out, that's just fantastic.
Right-hander George Cantos is now up in the Giants' pen as Sanchez goes out to the mound to talk with Mijares. And a strike over the outside corner, 1-2. The count on Brian McCann. McCann, of course, operating under tremendous pressure now because his batting average is now lower than that of Tim Hudson. Something that Hudson pointed out to him from first base earlier in this game. And McCann will help that batting average by lining one into right field. Now, does McCann look into the dugout right now at Hudson and say, "You're not done with me yet"?
This is a really good swing. Remember the shoulder that has some discomfort, that front shoulder, and he makes solid contact, and it always feels better when you hit it square on the barrel. You worry about that swing and miss, but that's a real pretty swing against a left-handed breaking ball, and he's still jawing with Hudson a little bit. And Chipper and Eric Hensky right there on the left, Chipper on the right, and there's Huddy.
So McCann's up to 234, but Hudson is up at 238 right now. Meanwhile, here's Francisco, who homered his last time up. A deep drive well back into the seats in right center field here at AT&T Park.
This is a shot. High split finger, about 84 miles an hour, and that is a long way here.
And you heard Chipper Jones in his interview with the Busters say, well, he's definitely an 80 on the power scale, and players are evaluated by scouts. It's not on a basis of 1 to 10. It's a 20 to 80, right?
2 to 8 or 20 to 80.
So 80 is max. 80's
max.
80's it.
5 is big league average. 6 is above big league average. 7, your all-star, creeping up on Hall of Fame of that category of whatever you're grading. And 8 is off the charts.
The home run was measured at 454 feet.
And for him to be the most powerful Brave on the roster, he's talking about with Jason Hayward, who can hit the ball an awful long way too.
Matt Kemp, David Price, and Robinson Cano have visited the MLB Fan Cave this season. Check out all the player videos and watch exclusive music videos and interviews with your favorite performers and celebrities by visiting MLBFancave.com. You can also follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. And almost at second base. Almost got him. Prado back in just safely.
Rob Drake with the call. Take a look here. Sneaks it back in there. The ball looks like it arrives on time, but I think the hand gets in there. Let's take a closer look. Ball beats him, but the hand gets in just in time.
Out of play down the left field line. Another look, and Rob Drake, is he wet? He's safe.
The right hand didn't get above the shoulder.
He's out. No, he's safe. On the appeal, he didn't go. The runners don't advance, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Francisco.
We just had the finals of the Little League World Series today. Japan beating Tennessee. I think it was 12-2.
Yes.
And what an amazing event that we had a chance to cover. And Terry Francona went for the first year and really was blown away by how good the kids are in the atmosphere. And the comment normally after that call is, remember, the volunteers, the umpires are all volunteers. That's not for Rob Drake.
Yeah, here they're not. And what about that game yesterday, the U.S. Championship between Tennessee and the kids from Petaluma, California, just about 30 miles north of here. Swing and a miss. San Francisco is gone.
They put a 10 spot on him in the 6th inning to tie it 15-15, but then gave up 9
in the top of the 7th.
They won by 8, Tennessee, to move on to lose to Japan today.
Yeah, great drama, great baseball. You guys did a great job. A lot of fun to watch on ESPN and ABC over the last week and a half. Pitching change. The right-hander Cantos coming into the game now for the Giants. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by Bayer Headache Relief. With its dual action formula that helps take care of your tough headache pain fast. Bayer Headache Relief, official pain reliever of Major League Baseball. Visit BayerHeadache.com. Have you ever been to the Muir Woods?
I have.
Aren't they gorgeous?
They're absolutely gorgeous.
Our producer tonight, Tim Sullivan, lives just north of here in the San Francisco area, and he is working all the local flavor he can work.
He knows the geography.
Yeah. George Cantos, right-hander, on now for San Francisco. Runners at first and second, one out. The Braves already leading 3-0 here in the sixth inning. The batter, Paul Janisch, the shortstop, 0 for 2. The Braves are hoping and expecting, as Cantos comes into the game for his 31st appearance of the season. Very good strikeout to walk ratio. The Braves are expecting to get young Andrelton Simmons back at some point in the second week of September. He's a shortstop, was playing very well for them when he was injured a few weeks ago. And at that point, Janisch can become more of a utility guy, back up at second and short, defensive replacement. But Simmons is a young player who played extremely well when given the opportunity, and he can inject a little more offense into the game for Fredi Gonzalez than Paul Janisch can.
This Brave team could be dangerous. They get into the playoffs. They could be a sleeper, could be a real favorite. Chipper can stay healthy. Brian McCann behind the plate, get the shoulder healthy. Chipper's bat has been unbelievable for a guy who's expected to retire. And their pitching staff and their bullpen is lights out. Venters, Kimbrel, O'Flaherty.
Simmons on the DL with a broken bone in his hand. Atlanta, when you look at their record when leading after 6, leading after 7, leading after 8, as good as it gets.
The best in baseball.
Yeah.
I think it's only like one loss for most of those categories.
And their closer Kimbrel having as good a season about as you can have. Aroldis Chapman obviously having a great season. So is Fernando Rodney. A number of closers having tremendous years. But the trio of O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrel really clicking on all cylinders right now. A breaking ball lined up the alley in left center field. This is trouble. All the way to the fence as Prado comes in to score. Now McCann is getting the wave. Janisch is into third base. 5-0 Braves.
Paul Janisch finding a gap, burning the Giants, who are trying to play shallow to cut down just the single. A little slider here that kind of stays up. Janisch out in front, drops the top hand off the bat, hits himself a triple in this gap. And you see how shallow they were playing. And once you see an outfielder's numbers running away from home plate, that is not good for the defense.
So runner at third, one out of the infield, comes in now for the Giants with Tim Hudson at the plate. Hudson is 2 for 2 in this game. A single to left and a single to center. And a little high, ball one. Now a little meeting on the mound. The outfield has crept in as well, especially in right field. Pence playing to Hudson's opposite field. Talk about a guy having a good night, mowing them down through 5 and 2 for 2 at the plate.
Timmy Hudson up there handles the bat very well. You could think squeeze, but in a 5-0 game, I'm not sure they go that way and risk injury with him having to square around with the runner coming in from third. I think they're going to just try and let him make contact. Here he comes.
The throw home. Got him.
I didn't expect it. I didn't know if Fredi Gonzalez would take the risk of having Hudson square around and possibly getting a ball up and in. As important as he is, a healthy pitcher with a 5-0 lead. A decent break at third, but this ball is bunted so hard back to the pitcher that there's still an opportunity to get the runner coming from third, and Giannis is out by a lot, and that's just because of the firmness of the bunt and maybe a little late break at third.
Back to the top of the order for Bourne. Bourne tonight 0 for 2. He's also walked and scored. He has stolen 2 bases in this game, giving him a National League leading now 37 on the season. A free agent at the end of the year, and he's going to be a highly sought after man in the offseason.
Sanchez here with the squeeze on, blocking the plate. If Buster Posey was back there today, he's been instructed not to block anymore because of the ankle injury he had, and Sanchez using the shin guards to protect himself.
Nice play at first by Buster Posey to end the inning. The Braves, though, get 2 more and now lead 5-0 going to the bottom of the 6th. The 6th inning here in San Francisco. The Atlanta Braves leading the Giants by a score of 5-0 on Sunday Night Baseball. This past week on Tuesday, it was announced that Major League Baseball Players Association Executive Director Michael Weiner began treatment for a brain tumor. Michael Weiner's treatments are expected to last about a month. It's anticipated that he will continue to work out of the union's office on a daily basis. And all of us here at ESPN would like to wish Michael the very best as he undergoes treatment, and we look forward to him making a full recovery. Here come the Giants now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the order, Pagan, Scudero, Sandoval against Hudson, who's given up just 3 hits, all singles through the first 5. And that's one of the reasons why he has been down around the knees, and he has been living on the edge tonight with a lot of success against the Giants. Pagan 0 for 2. Wow. Little sinker over the outside corner, little backdoor slider over the outside corner.
He pounds the strike zone. He's very efficient, and he doesn't live in the middle. And all that was stuff that is late and sharp. It's pretty good for a 37-year-old.
And now Pagan takes one, relatively speaking, right down the middle for strike 3 called.
But that ball really comes back hard. I mean, this ball looks like it could be inside, and then look at that tailing action to come all the way back, and it is almost down the middle. But the tremendous amount about that is it right about there, doesn't look down the middle, and now it takes a hard turn right.
So he strikes out Pagan on 3 pitches. Pagan never taking the bat off his shoulder. Here's Scudero 0 for 2. You're looking at the guy who, if Atlanta were to make the playoffs and they could set things up, you got to believe this guy's an automatic as the game 1 starter for this team, right?
It's unbelievable. 57 pitches, too. Think about that with 1 out here in the 6th. He is just pounding the strike zone.
Hayward makes the catch shy of the track, 2 down. Hudson is now set down 7 in a row. He has quieted a large sellout crowd tonight of better than 41,000, the 149th consecutive sellout in this ballpark. It is expected tomorrow, when the Red Sox are home, a day game tomorrow, I believe, that their sellout streak is going to come to an end. That's what some folks back east are saying about what's going on in Boston right now. That would give the Giants the longest active sellout streak in baseball.
It'll be really interesting to see if the Red Sox, reboot right away going in the next year in the offseason, or do they go into kind of sleep mode for a while and try and rebuild, take a breather before saying we're going to be a contender, compete with the Yankees, or are we going to just try and continue to pull back and to carve away from the roster and change the whole scene?
It's not really. It's a tough baseball town to go into sleep mode there.
Yeah.
With the way the fans are, the intensity of the way they are in Boston, especially after the run they had winning the 2 World Series. But you're right.
You have to start selling youth. You have to start selling player development, and we're not just going to run out and just spend right away. We're going to build the organization as we tear it apart in what they view as the correct manner.
And they've got more decisions to make. David Ortiz is a free agent at the end of the year.
Yep.
Jacoby Ellsbury has 1 more year. Do they keep him and risk losing him as a free agent, or do they trade him in the offseason and again try to build up the farm system and get 3 bodies for 1?
Dustin Pedroia is a great player that wants to win and is very competitive.
Ground ball to the right side. Prado feeds Hudson at the bag. Nice play on the infield by Martin Prado, and Hudson over in plenty of time covering. As the Giants go in order again. Good defense tonight from Atlanta. Good pitching, timely hitting. It's all coming together tonight for the Braves. Welcome back to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Dan Schulman, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney with you here at AT&T Park in San Francisco. The Braves lead the Giants 5-0. The Braves leading the wild card race in the National League. 5 back of Washington. The Nationals lost again today, beaten by the Phillies. The Giants, meanwhile, now 2.5 up on the Dodgers atop the National League West after the Dodgers lost earlier today to the Marlins. St. Louis had a good day. The Cardinals won. The Pirates lost. It's going to be interesting. Both leagues. We're going to have some great races, divisional races, wild card races over the next 5 weeks or so.
It's almost easier to look at those like every 5 days or so. See who's had a little hot streak, who's had a little cold streak, because it just every day it's just so jumbled and people barely move.
First pitch swinging, Reed Johnson with a ground ball to third, 1 down. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 live out-of-market games each week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Speaking of close races, we're going to check one out 1 week from tonight. Our Sunday night game 1 week from tonight will be in Detroit, where the Tigers, who are 2.5 back of the White Sox atop the American League Central, they will host the White Sox. Both teams won today. And if you like pitching matchups, you can't do much better than Chris Sale for the White Sox and Justin Verlander for the Tigers. That looks like it's going to be our pitching matchup 1 week from tonight from Comerica. Jason Hayward 1 for 3, singled, stole a base, scored back in the first when Atlanta got on the board with its first 2 runs of the night.
That pitching matchup you talked about is second in the American League going into the day in ERA, and Verlander and Sale is 4th in the American League.
Chris Sale with great stuff and left-handed, all arms and legs, tall and lanky, and it does not look like a comfortable at bat for left-handed batters against him.
Not at all. He's got 15 wins. He's having quite a year.
What a transition from the bullpen to the rotation he's made this year. And it is strike 3 call, 2 down.
Little breaking ball, and you get a check swing because maybe it looks like it's going to be that sinker high and away for a ball, and then the slider drops it in. And he has been so consistent with every pitch. Tim Hudson tonight making the ball go left to right, making it go right to left. Sorry, I'm talking about the wrong pitcher.
Here's Freddie Freeman.
Fooled myself right there.
Freeman 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. This is George Contos, third pitcher of the night for San Francisco. Tim Lincecum went 5, gave up 3 runs. Jose Majares charged with 2 runs in a third of an inning. The runs scoring when Paul Janisch greeted Contos with a triple. Down the left field line, Blanco is there. And the inning is over. 7th inning stretch here in San Francisco. Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball from AT&T Park in San Francisco. Tim Hudson of the Braves leading the Giants 5-0 as we take a look at our game track. Brought to you by Ram. Hudson, the big story in this game, not only what he's done on the mound, he's got a couple of hits in this game as well. He's been helped out offensively by the likes of Juan Francisco and Apollonish. Tim, Lincecum, how would you assess the outing that Lincecum had tonight?
Sketchy. You could see that he was battling. It looked like his confidence was a little short tonight because he wasn't comfortable with his mechanics and his rhythm. He's building towards something. He's searching. The ability's still there.
Buster Posey bangs one up the middle for a base hit. 2 for 3 on the night and hitting over 400 since the All-Star break.
But nobody on in front of him tonight. Just one base runner on and a fielder's choice prior to his at-bats. Great hips, great hands, concentration and intensity. He drives it back up the middle.
There's ball 1 to Hunter Pence. Pence tonight an infield hit and a ground out. As you can see there on what we call the bug down on the bottom right of the screen, Tim Hudson has thrown only 65 pitches as he works into the 7th inning here tonight. A broken bat flare is going to drop in for a base hit. The first 2 men are aboard for the Giants.
Tremendous movement on this fastball, and this ball just eats Hunter Pence up. It turns into an out. You hear yells from the Atlanta bench of "Kitchen." It's when you get inside on a hitter and shatter his bat. Well, you see he just snaps that bat in two, but for the Giants it finds a hole and they've got a chance here. The barrel of the bat went about half as far as the ball went.
And here we go. Looks like they're going to start getting busy in the Atlanta pen. Hector Sanchez 0 for 2. This is the best opportunity that the Giants have had at any point of the game against Hudson tonight. And 2 the count on Sanchez with left-hander Johnny Venters up in the Atlanta pen. Such an important part of their bullpen, and missed a couple of weeks last month with some elbow trouble, but since he's come back, he's been the Johnny Venters of last year, and one of the big reasons why Atlanta looks to be in such good shape. All 3 of these key relievers have far fewer appearances this year than they had at this point of last season. Venters and Kimbrel ran into some trouble in September, just wore down with all the work they got.
Well, Tim Hudson has featured tremendous movement tonight and on the edges, and Johnny Venters has that kind of movement from the left side. He's got a turbo sinker. Timmy Hudson's been on the edge. He's on the edge this inning, but he can make some quality pitches like that. The cutter on the edge, the curveball right there, the slider. That's outstanding at 78, and you can see he's made a lot of quality pitches near the corner with movement.
Up and in. This threat here in the bottom of the 7th has really gotten the fans going quite a bit. Their first real opportunity against Hudson. Deep down the right field line and foul. And a souvenir for a kayaker in McCovey Cove.
Little breaking ball. Watch it go foul.
Outside. Hudson's pitched very well this year. He's been given a lot of offensive support this year. The bullpen has been lights out in his games this year. High fly ball center field. Bourne the catch for out number 1. There are some things you can't control as a starting pitcher. Run support is one of them, but the Braves have given Hudson better than 5 runs per game this year. And Elias telling us that the bullpen has been outrageously good in Hudson games this year with a collective ERA of under 1. 0.91 in Hudson starts. And as a starting pitcher, boy, when the bullpen's pitching like that, you're feeling good.
Yeah, you're getting run support. You got the bullpen coming in doing the job, and you're out there throwing strikes and healthy. Tim Hudson coming back for some back issues at the beginning of this year. Missed the first month of the season, but he is on track, and he is their ace.
Getting down near the bottom of the Giant lineup now, number 7 hitter Gregor Blanco 0 for 2. Outside, ball 1. Venters continues to throw in the pen for Atlanta. Left-hander Jeremy Affeldt, who's been scuffling lately, gets up now and begins throwing for the Giants with the pitcher spot 2 spots away right now for San Francisco.
There's a phrase in baseball right now, kind of for Tim Hudson: empty the tank. You've got an outstanding bullpen behind you. You've been very efficient with your pitch count here tonight. You've been on top of your game, but there's no sense saving anything. This is not about trying to get a complete game. This is about emptying the tank right here. Use every bullet you got left, even if you don't think it's your last one, that you got a lot left in the tank. Whatever pitch sequence, whatever strategy it takes.
Fastball away, ball 2. The Braves do play tomorrow. They're down in San Diego tomorrow night. Kimbrel and O'Flaherty pitched yesterday for Atlanta. Venters' last pitch on Friday night. Ball 3.
Just thinking challenge him right here. Walk hurts me. Ground ball doesn't. Something low. Something make it hit on the ground.
Actually got it up, but Blanco couldn't check the swing, and it's a full count.
Missed his spot. Gets away with it. Low target, high pitch. But just attacking right here.
Changing the eye level, as they say, although he may not have intended to throw the ball up there, so he did it inadvertently. Got that pitch up a little bit as well.
He's not trying to trick anybody.
Yep.
5-0, 1 out, 1st and 2nd, 7th inning with an unbelievable bullpen behind you. I'm going strength against strength. You know heater, I'm throwing heater. You're gonna have to beat me. I'm going to throw you a strike. That's been his mentality his whole career.
Lost him, and the bases are loaded. First walk given up tonight by Hudson. And here comes Roger McDowell, the pitching coach. Let's check in with Buster Olney down on the field.
As you see Johnny Ventures warming up in the bullpen, one of the things the Giants have been looking for in recent days is to trade for someone who can bat right-handed and hit well against left-handed pitching for the type of situation that may arise in this game.
All right, Buster, thank you. Back to Brandon Crawford now. Hudson will stay to face him. Brandon Belt has come out of the on-deck circle for the Giants in the pitcher spot. Buster Posey led off the inning with a base hit. Hunter Pence followed up with a single of his own, and an out later Blanco drew a walk to load the bases. Brandon Crawford hasn't been around all that long in the big leagues, but he's already got 2 career grand slams. Shallow left center. Bourne the catch. Posey tagging. Throw comes in towards third. Sac fly. Gets the Giants on the board 5-1.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Tim Hudson, your ace. A lot of confidence with the bullpen he has behind him by Freddie Gonzalez. And Hudson rewards that confidence with a nice little routine fly. Oh, big deal. It's a sac fly. Trade outs for runs here. Lights out bullpen behind you. Go with the starter, the veteran, ground ball pitcher. He's going to go with him one more time.
Belt pinch hitting now in the pitcher's spot. For Contos, Belt, the first baseman for the Giants, normally hitting .265 on the season, 2 for 9 as a pinch hitter. First pitch swinging off the mound, up the middle. Giannis behind the bag onto first in time, and the inning is over. The Giants get a run, but Hudson limits the damage. 5-1 at the end of 7. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And in part by Ford, go further. This is our crew earlier this weekend going out and slowly, carefully making their way down Lombard Street here in San Francisco, the crookedest street in the world. You ever driven on that street?
I have.
Yeah. You lived here. You played here.
Yep, for a year. I'm glad Terry's not here this week. I don't think he could get down that street.
Terry's driving privileges revoked by us in most cities, definitely in this one. Here's Jeremy Affeldt into the game. Terry back with us next week when we will be in Detroit. Tigers and White Sox.
He gets lost. He runs out of gas. You just can't let him behind the wheel.
Loses his keys. I mean, he can't even get into the car sometimes.
That would help him from getting lost or running out of gas.
Yeah. Tito's good comedy. We miss you, Tito. Here's a chopper by Prado towards short. Crawford in time. Affeldt, a guy the Giants are really hoping is going to get it turned around. This guy's been in the majors a while. A lot of good stuff on his ledger, but he's been scuffling lately. Came into the game yesterday, faced 2 batters, walked them both. Both of those walks forcing in runs. And right now, Bruce Bochy knows he can count on guys like Casilla and Lopez and Romo. They'd like to get another dependable arm or 2 out of that bullpen.
Weird.
How about McCann? A bunt single.
Beat the shift. And I'd love to see this more often. And, you know, maybe the shoulder's ailing enough. He had the line drive earlier. But maybe he's fighting Tim Hudson for that batting title between the 2 of them.
Hudson with 2 hits tonight, and that's the 3rd hit of the game for McCann.
And he really took his time with that bunt. You know, he squared around, kind of gave it away, but it didn't matter. If he makes an accurate bunt down the line, as long as he gets it by the pitcher, he's going to be safe.
Here's Francisco, a couple of strikeouts and a home run. Takes the breaking ball up and in. Atlanta 5, San Francisco 1. The Braves batting in the top of the 8th inning. The Braves trying to salvage a split of this 4-game series. Lost the first 2, won yesterday. Another breaking ball, stays high, ball 2.
You talked about Jeremy Affeldt with that couple walks yesterday. Well, he was so anxious to get his rhythm back and to throw. He was down in the bullpen prior to the game throwing into the protective screen without a catcher. He wanted to do it on his own.
So he'd throw a pitch and then he'd walk in 60 feet and pick up the ball.
Pick up the ball that was laying there by home plate. He'd walk back to the mound, get himself composed, get into his stretch, look in for a target that wasn't there because it was just a screen, throw the pitch almost full bore, and he threw breaking balls, fastballs, all of his pitches.
And a strike. Shouldn't a major league pitcher always be able to find somebody to catch them before the game?
Yeah, I think he just wanted to be in his own personal torment state, and he didn't want anybody around. He wanted to think about it as be his own pace.
And he walks him.
He also works out of the bullpen, Dan.
True, and he's left-handed.
And
so left-handed relievers prone to quirkiness more than any other group. Right?
Yes.
All right. Like this guy. Left-handed reliever Johnny Venters. Still up in the pen, so it looks like Tim Hudson's night has come to an end. 7 outstanding innings for Hudson tonight.
Couple of hits. A little softer bunt on the suicide squeeze. He'd have an RBI and a sacrifice.
But maybe not. There he is out in the on-deck circle. Maybe they leave him in to hit.
Well, Chipper's got him out of the game. We just got to see if Freddie does.
Yeah. Maybe Chipper's going to pinch it. 2-1 the count on Giannis, who had a big 2-run triple his last time up. Chipper Jones not in the starting lineup, a slight oblique issue.
That's real interesting just to see him with a bat and a helmet on, if that's a deke. There's nobody up in the Giant pen to play games with Bruce Bochy, so I wouldn't think that The Chipper out of the lineup with a little ailing oblique. I wouldn't have thought that Freddie would have used him in a pinch hitting role here in the damp cold of San Francisco. Give him another day off.
Asked for time so he and Sanchez can get on the same page, maybe changing the signs with a runner, and not only a runner but a catcher, McCann, out there at second base, who might be, although he wouldn't admit to it, might be peeking in for some signs from out there. The 2-2 down and in.
Well, Jeremy's out there grinding it away right now. Struggled yesterday. Bruce Bochy did a great job getting him into this situation, because not real pressure situation, down 5-1. They want to get him back on the beam as soon as possible. But today he's struggling a little bit with command again.
In the air to center field. Back is Pagan to make the catch. 2 down. McCann will tag and come to third. Hudson's been called back. Here comes Chipper.
Your attention, please, for Atlanta. Pinch hitting for Tim Hudson, number 10, Chipper Jones.
You can count on one hand the players who will get this kind of a treatment in a visiting park. This will be his last at bat in this stadium. They had a ceremony before the game Thursday. Talking about the Gwynns, the Ripkins, Chippers, I would imagine Jeter when he gets to the last stage of his career. This kind of stuff doesn't happen very often.
That's a real special moment for Chipper, and a very respectful way to send him off by the San Francisco fans. As Reggie Jackson would say, they don't boo nobodies. Well, they don't cheer nobodies either. And a standing ovation on the road, that's real special.
The oblique is apparently more of an issue when Chipper bats from the left side rather than the right. So Freddie Gonzalez sends him up there feeling pretty good about things. One of the game's all-time great third baseman, and one of the game's all-time great switch hitters. When you look at where his numbers are, he's right up there, sometimes behind only guys like Eddie Murray and Mickey Mantle when it comes to all-time ranks among switch hitters. Hits it sharply. Crawford's got it and gets him. The acknowledgement of yet another ovation for Chipper Jones. Inning over here in San Francisco. Major League Baseball continues tomorrow and Wednesday. Tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. David Price in search of his 17th win of the season as the Rays take on the Rangers. Wednesday night, the Cardinals and the Pirates, both of them battling for the National League wild card spot, 7 Eastern on ESPN. And both games available on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. Johnny Venters into the game for Atlanta as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Braves 5, Giants 1. Angel Pagan leading it off for San Francisco. When he's on, when he's healthy, Oral, he is as nasty as anybody.
The ball sinks. He's got a spike curveball. He's got a nice changeup. He pounds the strike zone, and he is really hard to hit when he is on.
Has worked 12 consecutive scoreless appearances. In the shallow center, on comes Bourne. 1 down. We talked about how good the Braves have been because of the bullpen. Chad Durbin, Eric O'Flaherty getting up right now. And there's the guy who seals the deal when needed, Craig Kimbrell, who has been toying with major league hitters for most of the season, striking them out at a ridiculous rate. Hardly anybody getting on base against Kimbrell. And even at this point last season, even though the Braves had a better record last year and a bigger lead in the wild card race last year, you could already see the seeds of trouble with the amount of work the key relievers were getting. Right now, as you said, and Freddie Gonzalez will knock on wood when he talks to you about this, they all appear to be rested. They all appear to be healthy.
And we saw an example of the difference between this year and last year for the Atlanta Braves when he stuck with Tim Hudson, Freddie Gonzalez, and he was able to because of the Braves offense. This year, they're averaging 4.6 runs a game. Last year, only 4. And that gives him a little room to breathe, to not put as much pressure on his bullpen and stick with his starters a little longer.
A 1-out walk issued to Scudero. Look at the numbers for the Atlanta bullpen month by month. July and August especially. Absolutely incredible numbers. The best numbers in the National League. And you say, how could it not be the best numbers in baseball? Well, the Tampa Bay bullpen has been even better in terms of collective ERA than Atlanta has been.
And the Tampa Bay rotation has been off the charts, especially the second half.
A dangerous looking team right now, the Rays. Here's Sandoval. Changeup misses down and away. Ball 1. Sandoval 0 for 3, 3 groundouts. The Braves this year, when leading after 7 innings, are 61-1. That's getting it done. Foul ball. And a guy who for most of the year has pitched in the bullpen and pitched very well is Chris Medlin. But they moved him into the rotation. They needed him because of some injuries, and he's made 5 starts, and he's been lights out, and he's not going anywhere right now.
He's been absolutely amazing. They were actually going with 6-man rotation. Then Ben Sheets came up with some shoulder inflammation. He was having a miraculous comeback. There's Ben. But they've had to shut him down. And so Medlin stays in the rotation. And I'm not sure even if Sheets would have stayed healthy, if Medlin was coming out, it might have been another pitcher. He's pitching so well.
Ground ball to second. There's one, and the double play. They turn it 4-6-3, inning over. Good job by Venters. 8 in the books, and the Braves still in command. Back here, right beside McCovey Cove at AT&T Park, the home of the Giants, where you always find people out there enjoying some time on the water. Rain, shine, fog, heat, cold, doesn't matter.
You don't always find people there.
Braves 5 and the Giants 1. As we go to the top of the 9th inning, the Braves looking to salvage a 4-game split in this series. Big game for both teams, 2 contenders. With the Giants leading the National League West, the Dodgers lost to the Marlins earlier today. Atlanta trying to pick up a game on the Nationals. The Nationals beaten again by the Phillies today. It would be 4.5 if Atlanta wins. The Nationals and the Braves have 3 games left with one another this season. The Dodgers and the Giants have 6. Right-hander Clay Hensley into the game, the 5th pitcher of the night for the Giants. 54th appearance on the season. He will face the top of the Atlanta order, Bourne, Johnson, and Hayward. Bourne got it all started in the first inning for Atlanta. Walked, stole a base, came in to score. Atlanta getting 2 runs in the first off Tim Lincecum. Got another in the 4th on a home run by Juan Francisco, and then 2 more in the 6th, charged to Jose Majares, driven in on a 2-run triple by Paul Janisch.
You bring Lincecum up back again. I'm pulling for the guy. You know, you talk about good for baseball, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. It's painful to watch him struggle. It was painful to watch him out there tonight, kind of struggling with his confidence and his rhythm, and just hope he finds it for these Giants, but for all of baseball fans. He's so electric and fun to watch when he's on his game.
Down and away. 3-1. If Lincecum could get back to where he was, you put him with the rest of the rotation, and their starting pitching matches up with just about anybody.
Bumgarner, Kane, Vogelsong. Zito be in the bullpen in the playoffs.
Matt Cain with a perfect game earlier this year, having a terrific season. Signed the big deal, the 5-year deal earlier this year, and so far he has justified the Giants' faith in him, to say the least.
He is so consistent. And prior to that great record there in years past, he very rarely got run support.
Yeah.
He was out of the headlines nationally and in the shadow of Tim Lincecum just because he just didn't get supported from the bullpen and the run support. But with just average support and average bullpen relief behind him, he's put up some really good numbers.
Just foul. Activity in the Atlanta pen. Christian Martinez is up, so it looks like with a 4-run lead to go into the 9th, and with O'Flaherty and Kimbrel having pitched yesterday, Freddie Gonzalez is going to say, you know what, let's leave the main horses out of the game if possible. Sinking liner caught by a sliding Pagan. And again, if this is last year, even with a 4-run lead, I'm guessing O'Flaherty's probably up and Kimbrel's on emergency standby, and he still will be if something goes wrong. But Freddie Gonzalez is managing things a little bit differently this year.
And he has been very forthright with the adjustments they've made. They kept their, disappointment is a strong word, but internal within the Braves in their meetings and talked about it. But they have definitely made some adjustments on the workload of that bullpen, and Freddie's been very forthright that he's going to do things differently as we get down the stretch here.
Here's Reed Johnson, 0 for 4.
We talked with him before. If a guy is struggling against, it's not going to be well. We want to keep putting that same lineup out there. We're gonna make changes. We're gonna play hunches. We're gonna look at the numbers, and if it upsets guys a little bit chemistry wise, just it's for the team.
And here it is, the difference in terms of number of appearances. We showed this to you a little bit earlier, but it bears repeating. All three of them down significantly in terms of appearances from where they were a season ago at this time.
Talk about the lineup. Dan Uggla out of the lineup today. You know, just juggling around and making sure he gets all the right matchups, exactly what he wants. He's not going to take anything for granted. But he's very good at communicating with the guys. He actually had like a little State of the Union with the team at one time, telling them where they're at, how proud he was of them to get over last year's losing hangover, and then what they're going to do and how they're going to proceed the rest of the year.
Yep, time to finish, he said. Now it's time to finish. And at this point last year, the Braves were 8 games up in the wild card race, and of course St. Louis passed them on the final day of the season. This year, they're really 3 games ahead, and their record is worse, but they seem to be in a much better shape. They seem to be a better team, a deeper team, a healthier team this year.
Very thick in the bullpen and healthy and rested. Very thick in the rotation, and the offense much better. I think 10th in the league in runs last year, 3rd in the league in runs now. And they could be a sleeper as far as coming into the playoffs and running the table.
Ground ball to short. Crawford. When you look ahead at what the Atlanta Braves still have on their plate in terms of their schedule the rest of the way, as we mentioned, just 3 games left against Washington. They finished the season with 3 at Pittsburgh. None of their other games are against teams that are currently contenders. Again, the Nationals lost today, so their lead is currently 5 over Atlanta. Would go to 4.5 with a Braves win here tonight. Jason Hayward bunts it foul, just trying to get aboard any way he can.
Really interesting. We're sitting here talking about strategy, and things are going to be different, and they're healthy, and they're scoring runs, and they're avoiding the bullpen. And we've watched 2 powerful left-handed hitters try to bunt. One did, McCann, and beat the shift, and now Jason Hayward, even at 5-1, 2 outs in the 9th, is working on that part of his game.
Breaking ball driven to deep right field. Home run, Jason Hayward, his 3rd in as many games.
Tries to bunt for a hit, then takes a curveball right into his swing, and he kills this ball.
Freddie Freeman hits the ball a long way, right center, and this ball is gone. Back-to-back home runs for Jason Hayward and Freddie Freeman. 7-1 Atlanta.
This one's a fastball up, but you look, mirror the swings, bam and bam, and they're both in the middle of the plate. Both get full extension. Both get the hips going, the hands going, the shoulders through, and both hit them a long, long way.
Now Prado. So 3 home runs in the game for the Braves. Francisco, Hayward, Freeman. Liner to right field, and a sliding grab Made it by Hunter Pence to end the inning. But Hayward and Freeman, two huge parts of Atlanta's future and their present as well. They both go deep here in the top of the ninth inning on consecutive pitches. And the Braves' lead has grown to 6. They're up 7-1. 3 outs away from victory here in San Francisco. The Braves have a 7-1 lead on the Giants as we go to the bottom of the ninth. After the home runs by Hayward and Freeman in the top half of the inning. Christian Martinez on to pitch. And the strike taken by Buster Posey. Martinez, generally the long man for Atlanta, can give them multiple innings on here to work the ninth inning in a non-save situation. It was up when it was 5-1 and still coming in obviously at 7-1. Posey tonight 2 for 3, had an infield hit in the 4th, singled and scored in the 7th. The Braves will continue their road trip tomorrow night down in San Diego. Lost 2 out of 3 into Washington, looking at a split here in San Francisco, finishing up with 3 against the Padres. The Giants, after an off day tomorrow, will head out on the road. 3 games at Houston, 3 games at the Cubs.
And aren't we back here September 9th?
2 weeks from tonight. The Dodgers and the Giants. Yeah.
The whole team will be in the booth, huh? Tito will be back.
He'll be back. Well, he's going to do a little paddle boarding. McCovey coving. Swing and a miss. And Posey has gone 1 down. Tonight, Chevrolet player of the game, Tim Hudson of the Atlanta Braves. The starter went 7 strong innings, giving up just a run on 5 hits. And on his way, it would certainly appear to win number 13 on the season. That would be win number 194 in his career. This was the 400th career major league appearance for Tim Hudson. 399th start. Swing and a miss by Hunter Pence. And Pence with a 3-hit night. Sports Center comes your way at the conclusion of the game tonight. A look at all the action around Major League Baseball and the championship game of the Little League World Series. Congratulations to Japan defeating Tennessee in the championship game. And the kids from Petaluma, California, just up the road from where we are tonight, winning the third place game by defeating Panama earlier today in Williamsport. 1 on, 1 out for Hector Sanchez.
If you haven't seen Kiyomiya for Japan swing the bat or pitch, you need to watch those highlights. That young man, 6 foot 205, throwing 80 miles an hour and hitting balls everywhere. He's had a home run in every Little League game he's played this year, I think.
I'll tell you what was great last night. Can't remember if it was on Sports Center or Baseball Tonight, but a top 10 web gems from this year's Little League World Series. Right. Incredible stuff. Great plays.
Thomas Neal from Canada, was that number 1?
That was number 1.
Tom GPS.
Yep.
Left center, diving, laid out.
Chipper Jones didn't start tonight's game, came on as a pinch hitter, grounded out, got a huge, lengthy ovation from the crowd here in San Francisco. Ball 3. The last thing that Freddie Gonzalez wants to do is have to get somebody up in the pen. Got a cushion here with a 6-run lead.
Doesn't seem like much of a job when you're the long man, try to kind of mop up a win, but it's a big deal to get the rest of the pen a day off.
Sanchez might have just helped him out there by swinging at what could have been ball 4.
One thing a big league manager wants when you come out of the bullpen gate, he wants to know what he has. He looks for consistency. It's not always electric stuff. It's, can I count on you to do your job? Especially the guys that are supposedly in these borderline roles, development roles. That's one of the main ingredients they're looking for.
Runner goes as the ball is pulled foul.
Because if they can't count on you and they have to get people up and down and they're on pins and needles worried about what they're going to do, that workload of just people having to get up and play catch and get hot and possibly then bail you out, that's wear and tear on a big league bullpen. That is unnecessary in pitching coaches and managers' eyes.
Pops him up back of third. Tricky play, and Francisco makes the catch for out number 2.
When Buster interviewed Chipper in the 4th inning, he commented on Francisco and his defense, and he said, and in general, he's been a good fielder. If that one would have dropped, that would have been not the general.
The Giants now down to their final out. Blanco is the batter. Don't forget the Rays and the Rangers tomorrow night. As the runner takes second, Pence on defensive indifference. David Price on the mound for Tampa Bay, looking for win number 17. The Cardinals at Pittsburgh Wednesday night on ESPN. And then a week from tonight on ESPN2, we will bring you the White Sox and the Tigers. September is just around the corner when the races are heating up. A ball and a strike. Martinez looks a little bit frustrated with himself, struggling to throw strikes at times. Good changeup, 2-2.
Nice movement. Good way to get back into the count. Sometimes you got to play some mind games with yourself, make it more important than it seems. Finish it off strong.
Braves losing the first 2 games of the series, bouncing back with a win yesterday and on the verge of another one here tonight. Chance to pick up a game on Washington. Full count. Crawford waiting on deck should the game continue. And it will. Those 2 home runs in the top of the 9th inning looking a little bit bigger right now.
A little makes a difference, and they are the lack of consistency, and we're going to have to cause some action in the bullpen.
Which Martinez just noticed over his left shoulder.
You scurry around, and a lot of times the next pitch ends the game. Not this time. And it's not just anybody, it's the ace, it's the closer.
This is something you don't take into account. You look at appearances and innings and pitches thrown, but there's wear and tear getting up, sitting down, warming up in the bullpen.
Exactly what we talked about at the beginning of the inning. That what you like in your long man is some consistency and knowing what you get when the bullpen gate opens. And no gate here in San Francisco. They're right close to the field, but
we are not in save territory yet for the Braves, but Martinez is walking a fine line right now. Swing and a miss.
That's a sweet changeup, though. That ball starts down the middle. It's got some nice bite to it. He's looking for the final out. That's his ace in the hole right now.
Joaquin Arias is out to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot if Crawford can get on. Right center field, and the Braves win it. A 7-1 final as they split this 4-game series with the Giants here at AT&T Park. Coming up next on ESPN, stay tuned for SportsCenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Oral Hershiser and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching and so long from San Francisco.